Hello and welcome down onto the tech desk, and in today's video we've got the Revolution X controller from Nacon. Now this isn't a particularly new controller, but it is new to me. I've got hold of one, I'm playing it, and this is basically a pro controller, but the elephant in the room is that it's wired. Okay, so if you want a decent controller that does loads, then really look this up, okay? But as I said, the elephant in the room is it's a wired controller. Not everyone wants wired, but I will talk to you about this, how this has now become my stock controller for when I'm gaming on the PC, okay? So as I said, it's Xbox and PC compatible, okay? And this is the box, bit about it in here, loads, and we'll go through this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna split this video up into like 3 parts. First up, we're just like everything you get in the box. We'll go over the controller itself. And the second part is I'll just run through the software, because that's where the meat and bones is of this controller. And then we'll just come back and then talk about gaming on it, because I think this is suited to most people. Right, so that's the box there, as we've seen, fantastic. And what you get inside is obviously the controller itself, but nicely you get this. So this is a protective case for it. And then inside, branded with a nice zip, you get yourself a microfiber cloth. Now, I have had the Revolution controller for the PlayStation years ago, and I still use the cloth for that. So I've got high hopes for this one. I will be using this cloth for years to come. In fact, I use it as my main glasses cloth downstairs for my glasses every day. So I've got high hopes for that. Then you get this little pocket here, which with a few goodies in it. And then up here, you have this mesh up here, which holds, when you come, the big 2-meter braided USB-C cable. This cable is really good quality. One issue though, when you get out of there, you think, oh, I'll put it back in there, unless it's really neat, and I'm talking like much neater than that. It's really difficult to get it back in. I can't get it back in there. I've never got it back in there, so I haven't got time to wrap this up really neatly. So I've actually, when I've taken it away, I've always just thrown that in my bag separately to this. I've never been able to actually get it back in there. About as close as you're going to get it. Rubbish, basically. So it's quite difficult. However, that's not really a negative, is it? Really good quality cable, that one. So let's put the case to one side as we quickly look at these goodies in here. So when you pop it open, here you have a thumbstick cap, so you have different ones here. So this is the convex one, so this is nice and flat convex. And then over here is exactly the same, but this one has the Nacon logo on it. And then we have a bunch of weights as well. So if you can see here, it says 16 grams, 16 grams, 10 grams, 10 grams, and there's 2 more of the 14 grams, which I've got in here. And the way you put them in is you pop it open, you pop these 2 bits off here, and there you go, you can see the weight. So I've got the 14 gram in there and the 14 gram in there. All you're going to do is you're going to pull that out, get the 10, and pop it in there like so. This is, without these, a very light controller, because it doesn't have a battery in it, okay, because it's wired, so it feels very light. So it wouldn't surprise me if you need some weights in it. 16 for me was just a touch too high, hence why I went for the 14, and for me that was the sweet spot. Okay, with that on, I just felt like it had a really good balanced weight with the 14 in it, though you might want 10. I'm not sure why there's not 12, but the step up is from 10 to 14 and then 2 more. And then put these back on like so. You just put it on and just snap it back on there like that. And as I said, we've got these thumbstick rings here. These obviously come off because you can change that. I've kept on the stock ones, which is a concave. This is the Nacon logo, and the concave there, it's kind of like a gridded pattern. They kind of got a grippy texture to them. They're the ones that I've kept on there. And on here, once you take it off, there is no ring, it's just there, and then you can choose whichever one you want. So this one is a nice and thick one, so you're going to pop that back on, pop that on there, and it will hardly move. So you're going to hit the edge like so. Okay, and then let's pop that off again. Take that one off, or you can have this one, which is a thinner one, which decreases the movement speed from without it, but it's more than the one that we've just seen, and it goes out that way like so. Okay, personally I don't have them on, but that's absolutely something I can see that someone would be using, of having these thumbstick rings. Nice and metallic, really nice, good quality stuff. So what I was saying about the pro features, I think it's really nice to have all of this included in the box, and you can take this away with you. So if you didn't want to decide at the moment, but you might want to decide later on, just pop it in there and it stays in there with the cloth. Lovely. Okay, so let's go over the controller itself. So asymmetrical design, we have the thumbstick over there, we have the D-pad, which I'll talk about in a bit, and then thumbstick, and then we have nice, bright, large Y, X, A, and B. These buttons are perfect location for when you're gaming, never going to miss any. Your thumb just goes naturally over all of them like that without any movement hardly at all on your wrist there. Really nice and comfortable. Same with the D-pad, you're moving it down there like so. With terms of the thumbsticks, they feel fantastic. However, there's no point me critiquing them because you can adjust that in the software, which we'll talk about later. Buttons feel okay, yeah, fine. No real buttons, it doesn't really matter with the buttons. Yeah, great, whatever, they feel good and lined up nice. The D-pad is okay for most people. Right, so we'll talk about gaming later, but for me, I thought it was good, but I was having a bit of difficulty with fighting games. Now, I'm rubbish at fighting games anyway, but when I was playing with the fighting games, I was having a little bit trouble. I don't know. I'm no expert on the fighting games. If you are a fighting expert and you've got this, let me know. But I just seem to be a little bit even more rubbish at fighting games with this D-pad. So I wasn't 100% sure if this was me or the D-pad. But everything else seemed okay. But again, we can talk about whether you have it up 4-way or 8-way over in the software. On the top, we have digital LB and RB. And then we have analog, LT and RT, so the distance travel there. We're comparing this to the Pro controller. You can actually step up the Pro controller so it physically doesn't press in. You can't do that. You have to do that with just software, not the hardware. And then pulling over, we've got a bunch of buttons here. Let's talk about the quality first. Nice grippy texture on here with these flaps that come off. They're all nice and grippy, that's good. And then in the middle, we have the profile button, which you can swap on the fly between 4 profiles, which we'll talk about later. Classic and advanced. So if you have it on classic, you can change the profile. But if you have it on advanced, that's just the way it's staying. And you can't change the profile on that one. 3.5mm, and this does support Dolby Atmos, so you're going to get a fantastic quality sounding headphone. But again, it's going to be wired out of there. And then over here, so we have S1, S3, S4 and S2. So there's these 2 extra buttons down here, which I've not got on any of my other controllers. I've got those on there. These two here are in a great position. They just feel natural when you're holding the controller to press on there like so. And then we have these here. I have a little bit of an issue with these. I never map these because I don't have much strength in this finger to be able to press it as much as I do with my middle finger. I can't be dealing with that on that finger. What I found that I was doing is I was using my thumb to press that. So I was squeezing that in to press that, and I just got fatigued after a while to be able to do that. But if you want to, you can map those, and then you have 2 extra buttons on the back. So you can have a set of 4 paddles on the back. See what I mean about this controller being stacked? There's a lot going on in here, but that doesn't stop with the physical stuff. This is all good, okay? So the sticks are all good. The D-pad is good for the main part. The buttons are all good, and the triggers and everything are good. But the main thing is when it comes down to the software, because you plug this into your Windows PC and you can change it all. And what we're going to do is we're just going to spend a few minutes going over the software very quickly on regards to this. So here we are then down on the PC. I've got the Nacon plugged into the PC. And what you're going to do is you're going to load up the Microsoft Store and just search for Nacon Revolution. Just those 2 words and you'll see it. They'll be the first one that pops up. It's Revolution X. So all you need to do is download that and then open it. Plug your controller in, which we're in, and you'll see that it goes up to one of the profiles that you're in, which I'll talk about in a second. Just check its update for the controller. Just make sure you're up to date. But this is where the meat of the bones is. This is where you're going to click it, the management of profiles. And you have 4 stock ones, but you can add your own one into any of these. So I've put my own profile in here. There's a FPS one, arcade fighting, racing sports one, and there is another one as well called Infiltration, but I've just not got that. And I've put 1, 2, 3 and 4 because you can change it on the fly all 4, so you can order them how you want to. Let's go back and let's come onto here, and we're going to just display and edit this profile. So this is my CTA profile, and the reason I know that is because of that ring around there. If I quickly whip over to advanced settings, you'll see here I've got pink, yellow, red and blue, which shows off down there. Okay. But going back then, so this is where you're going to do your mapping of your controller, so you can change any one of these and then press Y on the controller. So press Y on the controller there and you'll change it back, and I've got it onto RB, LB and the triggers on those 2 there. Let's spin it back to the front. As I was saying, you can change any of these buttons to any that you want to. I've left them as stock because that's how I fancied it. And then if we go over to the left stick, we picked one of the ones that was on there before, and that's where the response curve is like this. But the way you change it is you click on that, so you've got that lit up on the 15, and then you can adjust that yourself. But my advice would be pick one of the 4 stock ones, stick with it, and then just adjust it from there, okay? So you can't adjust the ones that you've got, just create a new profile, change it to which one you wanted, and then adjust it from there, okay? But like I said, there is a bit of a learning curve with this, no pun intended, that you're going to need to know with this. It's just a bit of practice and trying to change it. And then dead zones, you might want 0 dead zones if you're going to be in racing games, so you kind of get your acceleration straight away. Invert your access and then change up the sensitivity. Exactly the same with the right stick. You're going to be changing this. This has got it in smooth at the moment, just because I was playing about with it, which you can have for your kind of like when you're aiming and you're doing some sniping. I'll change that. If you didn't want to change that, I would be changing it to let's do linear for racing. Okay. Dead zones again. Let's whack that down to 0. Revert. No, we're not going to change that. We're not going to change the sensitivity. And then moving over to the triggers, this is what we were saying about there's no physical stop for these. It has to be done via software, which you can do by dragging it yourself, or you can do it with yourself with your sticks there, like so. Okay, I'm just going to have it on there, the presets with the for the racing one there and the racing one there for when we jump onto Forza later. But you can have it however you want to. So here we are then down. I've got Forza running with this controller. We're on profile 4, so remember we set up that for the gaming. So there's 1 with all the colours, that's CTA, 2, 3, and then 4. So we're going to be on 4 with Forza. And I'm not going to embarrass myself with any first-person shooters. Although I do enjoy them, I'm rubbish at them, so I've employed someone to be using this very controller to show you how it's done, and I will intersperse that with some of that footage. Okay, so as I say, we've got it on the driving one. This is one of the stock controllers. I just wanted to show you, so we've got the trigger here, so as soon as it kind of like goes up, can you see over in the corner of the rev counter goes straight up, so it's almost instant for that. Okay. And I've mapped this one here to RB, so we can just change the view. I've just done it on the view one. I'll probably change that to be handbrake as well at some point. So as I said, this with one of the curves it just feels great. One of the stock curves for the racing, but you might need to tweak it, hence why you're going to need to spend a bit of time almost learning the software, because it is quite difficult to get hold of if you aren't aware of some of the terminology like dead zones and response curve and things like that. But just take your time, you'll get used to it. This is boring me running over the road, isn't it? Let's go off road a bit. A little bit more exciting. It feels great, it's nice and comfortable to hold. The presets are great. There's lots of customization for this, and as you'll see with the Fortnite footage, someone just picked up this controller, put it into the FPS mode, and did really well with it. So like I was saying, I think this is a definite pro controller alternative, but kind of like a wired version. So there we have it then. That was my look at this and the Nacon Revolution X controller. This is essentially an official pro controller, but it's wired. It is stacked, as we've seen with all the software. It feels good in the hand, really nice to play. And if you don't like the way it plays, just go and change it. Lovely addition with the weights. and the thumbstick rings and the thumbstick caps, definitely worth a look at. But like I say, only a couple of really small negatives with the D-pad on the fighting games. I think maybe someone could tell me otherwise. And being able to put the cable in there, really. And I think you've only got 4 options with the weights as well. You might want to be able to change that. And there is a bit of a learning curve with the software as well. Okay, so let me know your thoughts then. What's your thoughts on this? Let me know how I can improve my games for PC gaming with some profiles. If you've got any profile settings, I'd love to know them down in the comments below. Okay, that's it then. That was my look at this then. Please do like, please do subscribe to the next video. Bye-bye.